What is going up, you bodacious booty bitches? And with this, right, right now it's just me and Lewis. Right now, we are going to be um actually reacting to one of my favorite YouTubers, and he has never seen this YouTuber before.
Nope.
Yeah, and he's not even that big of a gamer. So we're gonna try to get him to react to the Angry Video Game Nerd today. He's gonna be watching the video of the Virtual Boy. Hopefully, he's gonna want to watch more of these videos, not be a damn stick in the mud. But with that, are you ready?
Yep.
Your fan is out of this world.
Really? Wait, hold on. Hold on 1 second. There's no way it's picking that up. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah, it is picking it up.
Hold on.
Hold on a second. So let me tell you how lame this guy is, okay, guys? Pay attention right now, right? You see for a second, like he has like the biggest nose in fucking history. Now, here's the thing about that. I remember we used to call him Toucan Sam. So when we used to call him Toucan Sam, and he used to go ahead and sniff the, hey, how you doing? All right.
Okay, what about now?
Okay, you're good.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you're good now.
That fan was like all the way. It doesn't even matter. Okay, the good we fixed it.
Yeah,
that's the good.
It could be because the mic is picking it up very strongly. So
yeah, but this is supposed to be a noise canceling headset, so I don't understand why that's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just fucking do it.
All right, so we're gonna watch it right now.
It's gonna start to get hot as fuck. So let's do this quick.
I understand that. Can you hear it well? You hear it?
Yeah.
Right, cool.
He's gonna take you back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass. He'd rather have a buffalo take a diarrhea dump in his ear. He'd rather eat the rotten asshole of a roadkill skunk and down it with beer. He's the angriest gamer.
This has been his theme ever since 2000.
Angry Nintendo nerd. He's the angry Atari Sega nerd. He's the angry video game nerd.
It's the mid-90s. Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis were the two big competitors. The 16-bit era was coming to an end, while the next-generation consoles were on their way. The Sega Saturn, the PlayStation, and the Nintendo 64 were ready to hit the scene. The graphics were getting better, and video game companies were racing their technology to a never-ending finish line. During the ongoing delay of the Nintendo 64, Nintendo announced a new product to fill the time and continue their successful line of portable game systems, beginning with the Game & Watch games and the Game Boy. The product, originally dubbed VR32, would become known as the Virtual Boy. It made use of 3D technology where each eye would see two separate screens and create the illusion of three-dimensional depth. Virtual reality seemed like the way of the future. Just the idea of feeling like you were in the game was an awesome concept, but instead, it turned out to be the grand motherlode of shit.
What?
The first problem was that it was marketed as a portable system. Yeah, portable. My ass is portable. You could barely find a comfortable way to play this big red ugly piece of shit at home, let alone bring it somewhere. Like you couldn't play in a car or something like that. And come to think of it, you wouldn't want to play this thing in public anyway. You'd look like an asshole.
What the fuck?
So this was so bad that it literally was off the market within probably like 3 weeks.
That's ridiculous. Is this thing fucking real?
This is a real fucking system, dude. This was this was like the whole thing where Nintendo wanted to be like a VR headset. It didn't work out. That's why.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah. Also, the prices were marketed terribly. Like literally for a system like this, probably would have been at around $400-$500.
Fucking suck my taint for 400 $500.
Yep, it's because back then money was so like different. Plus,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like the value of money was way different, so that's why.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue.
Why isn't there a head strap? Let's think about this. This must be one of the worst designs for any invention in history. It's basically a pair of goggles on a stand. To me, that translates to a pair of eyeballs on legs. The controller's really weird too. It has 2 D-pads and the battery pack is attached to it. You can swap it with an AC adapter, but when you're playing on a table, it can come loose and shut off your game. The 3D effects are hard to focus and they strain your eyes. There was even a warning on the box that said it could cause headaches and seizures. That's great, right? It's like the cherry on the shit sundae. How would you like to play bad games and have a headache too? But before I say the games are bad, let's take an honest look. Unfortunately, the only way I can record these games is to zoom into the eyepiece, so please excuse the guerrilla-style videography. Let's begin with Mario's Tennis. This was one of the first Virtual Boy games to be released, and it's usually the first one that most people have played. It starts out with Mario hitting a tennis ball right into your face. The 3D effect is actually pretty effective, but without experiencing the actual game, you can't see it. Now, the main thing that disappointed everybody right from the beginning was the fact that the games are all in red and black. Now, the original Game Boy was in black and white, or black and greenish yellow, whatever, but the Virtual Boy was supposed to be cutting edge, so it was fair to expect it to be in color. What a letdown. Now, as for the game itself, it's just tennis, but with a selection of Mario characters. Not bad, but nothing special. The big problem for me, personally, what the hell kind of virtual reality game is this? I don't feel like I'm on the court interacting. I would have expected this to be in a first-person perspective. The whole idea of virtual reality is to simulate the experience of the game like you're actually in the environment. It's supposed to feel like reality, hence the term virtual reality. Here's another one, Galactic Pinball. Well, it's just a pinball game with a space theme. The 3D effects are pretty shallow on this one. Nothing ever really comes up in your face. To use the paddle...
So, you want to hear what's funny about this?
What?
This actually has an emulator.
The fucking virtual whatever the fuck it is?
Yeah, the Virtual Boy. It literally has an emulator. And I actually, in school, I tried it.
Get the fuck out of here.
I tried the real system because they actually have like the old school ones. I have never gotten a headache so fast that like I literally had to go like douse myself with water. Like,
damn.
Like I had to literally take water and just like pour it over my head because my head was pounding.
Bro, that's crazy. I've never heard of this thing ever in my life until now.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And it's literally like terrible with the way it is. Are you cool with the captions or you want me to get rid of the captions?
Up to you, man. You can get rid of them if you want.
You hit the buttons on the bottom of the controller, which feels like using a real pinball machine, but you expect to be able to hit the button harder to hit the ball harder. So in the long run, it just makes you wish you were playing a real pinball machine instead, or anything other than this. I feel like I'm taking an eye exam. And speaking of that, my eyes are starting to hurt already. If you play this long enough and go blind, you can really become the pinball wizard. Okay, now we have Teleroboxer, kind of like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. And holy shit, it's a first-person perspective. This is a little more like virtual reality. The gameplay is pretty much the same as Punch-Out. You can punch the face, punch the body, hook, uppercut, duck, dodge, and you can make use of both D-pads, which individually control each arm, so you can block with one arm and punch with the other at the same time. It's not bad, and the 3D effects are cool, especially when your opponent knocks you out. Next up, Red Alarm. Well,
this is the one
right.
I played.
All the games should have had red in the title. It's basically a flying game like Star Fox. Remember what the graphics looked like on Star Fox? Everything was a polygon. But imagine that in red and black without any rendered
Super
shapes
Nintendo
whatsoever. Everything is just a wireframe. It looks like a game that hasn't been finished. Worst of all, it's disorienting. If only there was some kind of texture, you'd be able to see where the boundaries are. But without it, you're just flying around with a bunch of lines. Often I think I'm flying into an opening, but then I just find I'm butting against the wall. Look at this. Where am I supposed to go? One thing that's cool is that you can switch camera angles. I choose the POV because, after all, isn't this supposed to be virtual reality? Unfortunately, Red Alarm and Teleroboxer are the only two Virtual Boy games to have this feature. Next up is Wario Land. You take control of Wario with one basic goal: reach the end of each level. Along the way, you gotta find keys to open doors, collect treasures, and fight enemies. You stomp on them, throw them, or dash into them. There's also parts where you can leap into the background, obviously trying to cater to the 3D gimmick, but it's actually a good game. Damn good. But only one problem. It's on Virtual Boy. Next we have Panic Bomber. It's a puzzle game, and a decent one I might add. Basically, things fall down and you gotta match 3 of a kind in a row, in a column, or diagonal. The match pieces disappear and you get bombs. When a lit bomb falls, you can use it to blow up the other bombs. Now, I have one question. Why in the holy mother of fuck does this need to be on Virtual Boy? It's a puzzle game. This is the kind of thing that belongs on Game Boy. Not only is there nothing remotely 3D or virtual reality based, you can only play it alone. Aren't puzzle games most fun when you have friends to play with? Well, Virtual Boy actually had an extension port for a multiplayer cable. It would have been used to link two Virtual Boys, much like the Game Boy did, but the only problem, they never released the cable or made any games that supported it because the Virtual Boy sucked so hard it was retired before such a thing could be released. Next, we're up to Mario.
Remember, you ever had like a Game Boy SP, and
those were the foldable ones, right?
Yeah, and then you connected it by a wire to play like multiplayer.
No, Byron was the one that had the Game Boys. I never really had Game Boys.
Yeah, Byron had my Game Boy SP, my Game Boy Micro. It was like it was like that little small square one with like the camouflage and everything. So he had that one, and he played Mega Man, and then he had the DS and stuff like that. So we played like a whole bunch of Game Boy and Rock Band when Byron lived with me. Because he bought like a whole shitload of games from I think you remember
GameStop.
No, from someone else, from Andrew. Remember Andrew?
Andrew Guzman?
Yeah.
Fuck that motherfucker.
That's another story. But let's continue on where we're going here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Mario Clash. Every Nintendo console had its own definitive Mario title, and this, you would hope, would be decent. But what you get is basically a remake of the original 1983 Mario Bros. Arcade. Each level is just one screen, and the goal is to knock out all the enemies, except for the Koopas. You stomp on them and use their shells to throw at the other enemies. Some of the enemies, like the ones with the 3 spikes on their back, have to be killed from a distance. So it's basically Mario Brothers with the background and foreground. What bothers me about this game is just one simple problem. They swapped the buttons. B is jump and A throws shells. How did they fuck up the controls for a Mario game? Why change what we grew up with? Why change what's been firmly planted in our brains since childhood? There's also a bonus stage, and look what we have here, texture. It's nice to see a floor that's fully rendered for once. Overall, Mario Clash isn't bad, but it's repetitive, and it goes on for 99 levels, probably making it the longest Virtual Boy game. And since it causes eye strain, it shouldn't be finished in one sitting. Next, Nestor's Funky Bowling.
I just don't get why. I don't understand why it's red. Why is it red?
So it was trying to go with the whole thing of the color scheme, but the reason why it was like they
I guess it wasn't. I guess the technology, you know what I mean? They were limited by the technology, you know what I mean? I don't think they could have really created. I mean, think about it. Back then, TVs were giant boxes. You know, like how you couldn't even really fathom creating a small lit screen. You'd have to have like small individual little fucking light bulbs and shit. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make sense.
I had a mini TV with a DVD player, and that's where I played like my.
Do you remember? I forget the names of these things. There were like these little fucking. They almost looked like Game Boys, but they had like they had a thing where you could pop the top and you could put this thing that looked like a CD in it, and it would play like an episode of your favorite show. It could be like SpongeBob or fucking Kids Next Door.
Was it? Did they have like small it was small CDs?
Yeah, but they weren't really like CD. Like they looked like CDs, but they weren't really CDs.
So did they have like a container, like a whitish container and stuff like that?
Something like that. I forget the name.
PlayStation Portable?
No, it wasn't a PlayStation. It wasn't a video game. It was a device created specifically for watching stuff on the go. And some of those CDs weren't even full episodes. It was literally like just 5 minutes of like your favorite little fucking thing, and you could collect them, and they came on like little fucking keychain type deals, and you could literally pop one in and watch like 2 or 3 minutes of the fucking Very Odd Parents or whatever the fuck.
And they had some for like music as well.
Yeah. And like the first versions were like black and white screens, and then they, you know what I mean, and then it was a color screen, and then it was a lit screen. You know what I mean?
I remember what you're talking about. I just don't remember the name of it. Shit.
I don't know the name of it either.
If you guys are watching in the comments, let us know what it is. Like, I don't know what that is. Like by name. I know by what you're talking about. I remember that, and I remember that there were some actual episodes on Game Boy that they actually made. They actually made cartoons. Episodes for Game Boy that you actually could put it in the cartridge and play. It was that, and I remember those little it's like a little machine right here, Tamagotchi. Ever heard of those?
Oh my god! Of course, everyone remembers Tamagotchis.
They are still a thing.
They're called Video Nows.
Yes, Video Nows.
This fucking thing. Look, hold on. If I can show you.
I'll put a picture up.
Fucking thing.
Yes, I had one in red.
Fucking things were ridiculous.
It was a full episode because I have Fairly Odd Parents, and it was with the one for Chip Skylark.
Chip Skylar. Oh my god.
Yeah. But let me go ahead and
my shiny teeth and me. Shiny teeth.
Yeah, so it's very, very weird. There was that, and I think there was an episode of Teen Titans also.
They still sell Video Now players. They're going for like $30 on eBay. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you remember, bro? Oh my god, we grew up in such a weird fucking time, bro.
Oh, but before we anything of that, you remember Teen Titans, right?
Of course.
So, sad news is that the voice actor for Beast Boy actually is now in the early stages of Parkinson's.
Ah, fuck. I just found out that the fucking one of the screenwriters for fucking Courage the Cowardly Dog passed away.
That was the shit. Return the slab.
Why the fuck would you say that at 10 o'clock at night when I got all my fucking lights turned off? You son of a bitch.
Oh, come on.
You motherfucker.
Welcome to the Cats Hotel. I am Cats.
Oh my god, I remember that shit. Fucking Video Now was the shit. And fuck My Little Pony. Fuck My Little Pony.
I hate that.
I'm sorry. I had to say that.
I know a lot of my TemGameBoyz are gonna hate that comment.
I'm so sorry. I had to say it.
I told them why I hate My Little Pony. I stand firmly on it, but that's for another thing. Let's continue.
Nestor is, and this is probably the only game he's ever been in. All I can say is, it's bowling. That's what it is. But I don't know what's so funky about it. It's just an average bowling game with the same 10 pins over and over. The animation on Nestor's reaction is pretty fun to watch, but other than that, there's not much to say. Okay, next is Virtual League Baseball. You bat, you run, you pitch, you catch, you run, you throw. It's baseball. The music is pretty cool, and you get a nice 3D effect when it shows the field. Kind of like you're sitting in the seats, almost like a virtual reality feel. When it comes to batting, the hit detection is kind of awkward, and when you're in the outfield, it's like you need a microscope to see the players. It's such a strange sensation to be controlling sprites the size of ants, kind of like North and South on NES. Now let's do Vertical Force. This one is a 2D shooter, kind of like Galaga 1942 or R-Type. It's a genre that's classic as a good old TV screen. The only 3D part is that you can switch between two different altitudes, so it's kind of like 2D 3D. Sometimes you gotta fly up or down to avoid obstacles, but most of the time you can just stay where you are. The 3D effect isn't even that deep anyway. This is another perfect example of a game that doesn't need to be on Virtual Boy. Next is Golf. That's it, just Golf. Of all the games with this title, I'd stick to Golf on NES. You pick your club, you line up your shots, and that's about it.
See his library.
Just the idea of playing an 18-hole course on this makes me sick. The graphics are decent, but they beg to be in green and black rather than red and black. Well, it would be nice if it was in color, but let me tell you, if there's one color that I imagine when it comes to golf, it's fucking anything but red. Next.
He has a large library that possibly, if he sold it for a high price, it would probably be he would probably be able to get a couple million.
That's crazy.
Like it literally shows like on his whole list, like he has like a couple hundred, and they're like even ones from Japan and shit.
Yeah.
So see his lineup for his system.
Next we have 3D Tetris. Now anyone who's familiar with Tetris will immediately understand the concept. Blocks fall down and you have to put them together without leaving gaps. Anytime you fill a whole row, they disappear, and the only difference is that it's in 3D, but that means it moves along a lot slower because there's a lot more space to fill. The A and B buttons turn the blocks around in the second dimension, while the right D-pad flips them in the third dimension. The left D-pad moves the pieces around to where you want to drop them, and it works quite well. 3D Tetris and Teleroboxer are the only two Virtual Boy games that use both D-pads to do something different. Until the blocks drop down, they're transparent and they have little shadows to help you tell where they're going to land. Also, the layout keeps moving, so they basically tried everything they could so that you won't get confused, but still, it's a little hard to tell what you're doing. The 3D aspect isn't even very unique. They could have made a game like this on just about any other console at the time. While the Virtual Boy does place parts of the graphics in front of other parts, the blocks here are just two-dimensional shapes drawn to give the feeling of the third dimension without actually doing so. It's like if I just draw on a piece of paper. There, that's 3D. I'd say just stick to regular Tetris. Well, now we save the worst for last. It's Waterworld. Now, let's just stop for a moment and take this in, okay? Waterworld on Virtual Boy. It's like puking on a pile of shit. Alright, here we go.
It's a very bad movie.
Oh, it's a movie.
Waterworld is a terrible movie.
Oh, I've never watched it. Never seen it. Should I watch it?
Please don't.
Okay, I won't.
It's like Dragon Ball Evolution bad.
I've not seen Dragon Ball Evolution.
Please don't.
Okay.
We don't even talk about it. I'm not even supposed to talk about it. It's like talking about Fight Club.
You don't like Fight Club?
No, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm talking about the number one rule about Fight Club.
Yeah, you don't talk about Fight Club. Yeah,
it's just like that. You're not supposed to talk.
I got it.
Ocean presents Waterworld. How ironic. Well, as far as the graphics go, too bad they couldn't use the color blue. I mean, they had two choices for the water. It could have been red or black. Well, at least they chose black, because if it was red, we'd be calling it Blood World. Either way, it looks like shit.
It does look like shit.
It does
look like shit. The object of the game is just to shoot everybody and rescue the people. It's basically a remake of Defender. There's not really any goal other than getting a high score, which really helps since it doesn't save any data. there's actually a 9-player mode, which I honestly find hard to believe. Could you imagine passing the Virtual Boy around a room to 8 other people? I'd rather drink Kevin Costner's recycled piss water. Waterworld is the only movie-based game on Virtual Boy, and doesn't it seem like a match made in heaven? It's a perfect analogy. An over-budget, overhyped movie turned into a game on a gimmicky, overpriced anal atom bomb of a console exploding with diarrhea. Well, that's it. The Virtual Boy was such a flop, it died in less than a year. Yeah, and I didn't pick these games. This is all of them. I just reviewed every Virtual Boy game to be released in North America. That's right, I am holding the entire library of games for this piece of shit in my one hand, with the exception of Jack Brothers, which is rare, expensive, and probably not worth jack shit. Now, to be fair, most of the games are okay, but they're the same kind of games you might as well be playing on a regular TV screen. I mean, they tried to take advantage of some 3D elements, but this wasn't called 3D Boy. It was called Virtual Boy. Now, they didn't even attempt a virtual reality concept. What it needed was some first-person shooter games, like Doom. That would have been awesome. Now, it's been about 10 years. The technology's gotten better, but nobody really gives a shit about virtual reality anymore. And maybe that's for the best.
Yeah, that video's gotta be old, because virtual reality these days...
I bet.
Yeah, that video, how old is that video? When did that video come out?
This video came out 15 years.
15 years ago? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
During the time when PS3.
Yeah.
And
oh my god, I had a Wii.
Yes, we had a Wii.
Nintendo Wii.
All right, guys, do us a favor, leave in the comments. Let us know what other videos you want us to comment on or to go ahead and react to. Lewis has a TikTok, so by all means, go ahead and follow him.
Yeah, that's right. I do. Let me see how my latest TikTok is doing.
You fucking eyeballing me, boy?
Yep, sucks balls. That's what I thought.
Yeah, so with that, go ahead, leave a follow and leave a like on his TikToks as well. Go ahead and show your support on his TikTok. And with that, guys, definitely subscribe, leave a like, stay tuned for another video, and remember that there's always something amazing on the horizon.